Talker logging on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Just going to wait for some streams to catch up and people to log on. Hope everyone's having a reasonably good Monday. We're going to be continuing our every other night chats about mental health, mental illness. We're going to be taking questions live tonight. We're going to be talking about how to talk about how we feel. But I'm just going to wait for some people to catch up to the streams that we've been having some really good exchanges with people. People have been opening up and talking about how they're feeling. I'm going to rotate between standing and sitting. I tend to sit all day, so I'm going to do some standing, and it gets my energy going a little bit more. So tonight we're talking about how to talk about how you feel, meaning what are the mechanisms behind talking about how we feel. Now, if you've been catching any of my live broadcasts, you know that I am a huge proponent of talking about what's on our mind, meaning that we need to talk about things that are on our mind in order to deal with them. So we've got hey, Severina, how are you? Welcome back. Miranda, thank you. Please share this as usual. We're going to get into a little bit of the mechanics behind how to talk about how we feel. So while we let people log on and streams to catch up, I want to remind everybody who's watching these and who has been, very loyal and coming on and sharing this is the key to our culture, our society evolving more is we've got to talk about what's on our mind. We've got to talk about things that are troubling us. We need to find a way to say to ourselves, it's okay to talk about how we feel. Now, why is that important? Well, let's look at the opposite. Let's look at a culture that we have where people generally keep painful things to themselves. They don't talk about what's on their mind. They don't talk about things with people who have caused them pain, and it just festers and festers and festers. The analogy or the metaphor I like to use is if you ate something, if you had food poisoning, your body's going to try to expel it. If you keep it in, if you keep that poison inside of you, it's going to spread out throughout your whole body and eventually make you feel sicker than you actually are. So again, we're talking about how to talk about how you feel. So first step is to identify what you're feeling. I know it sounds obvious, but a lot of people are not aware of how they feel. The first thing is we need to identify. I had a gentleman send me a private message about being unhappy. And that's the first step, is identifying I'm unhappy, something's bothering me, and I need to work on it. That's step number one. Identifying what is troubling me. And men are notoriously bad about this, not because we're bad people. It's because we don't have examples growing up of people telling us how we feel. Nobody was coming into my room or asking me, hey, little Stevie, what's on your mind, buddy? Is anything bothering you? None of that. Absolutely none of that. Conversely, I never saw my parents talking about a lot of things. I never saw them dealing with issues. There was fighting and things like that, which is normal in a relationship, but there was no talking about how we feel. Step number one in that, like I said, is identifying how you feel. Step number two is how do you do that? How do you get that out? People who are familiar with this field know. You start using I statements, meaning I feel this way. I am bothered by this. I am bothered. We want to stay away from you statements, meaning you're the reason, you. That will get a conversation going more and more. So we've got step number one, identify how you feel. Step number two, use I statements, no you statements. Step number three, be okay with how you feel. That's the main thing. And these steps can kind of go back and forth. You guys have heard me say this before. Taking the it's okay pill. It's okay how I feel. It's okay that I'm feeling what I'm feeling so that I can talk about it. Okay. Now, step number 4, and there are multiple steps on this, but I'm just highlighting some of the key points. Let's say somebody is bothering you. So let's say someone has done something that bothers you. Some people believe that brutal honesty is the best way to go about saying it. Just go right at it, be as honest as you can, and not care about how the other person takes it. I couldn't be less of a proponent of brutal honesty. Why? Brutal honesty, in my opinion, is the easiest form of honesty. Brutal honesty, anybody can do brutal honesty. Children do brutal honesty. And we've got adults out there saying, yeah, I'm proud that I'm brutally honest. Well, why don't we try to be compassionately honest? Why don't we try to be compassionate with our honesty? Meaning, be honest, but be compassionate. Take the other person's feelings into account. Now, remember, sharping. Don't know what that means, but thank you, Severina. And again, remember, guys, if you have a question, if you have a comment, please ask it. The key to these broadcasts is interacting with me, talking about what's on your mind, even typing it. Okay? That is an important part of what these are about. I don't want to be just somebody talking and this is my opinion. I want feedback from you. So let's get back to how do we talk about our feelings. We want to be compassionately honest. Why? Because if the person we need to be honest to about something feels us trying to be compassionate with them, not brutalizing them, odds are they're going to listen to what we have to say. Odds are they're going to give you some feedback instead of just saying, F you. Brutal honesty, get rid of brutal honesty out of your lexicon of how you communicate with people. Lexicon? Anyway, you know what I mean. Because brutal honesty is the easiest form of honesty. If you pride yourself on being brutally honest, then odds are you need to work on your empathy. You need to work on your ability to say, well, gee, how is this person going to take this? How is this person going? Remember we talked about on Friday night about empathy. Empathy is one of the keys to communicating and talking about how you feel. Why? Because if you are talking in an empathetic way to the person you want some feedback from, odds are they're going to give that empathy back to you. Now, when we talk about feelings, we've got to look at what a feeling is and what a feeling isn't. So we all have feelings and we all have thoughts. How do you distinguish between thoughts and feelings? Generally speaking, when you're having a feeling, you're experiencing an emotional reaction to something either in your mind or in your environment. The key, though, is identifying how that is affecting you, meaning how is this event affecting me? Remember, we talked about the ABCs of thinking: activating event, belief, consequence. Something activates us. We impose a belief upon that activating event, and those beliefs have consequences in the form of feelings, meaning I start losing my hair. I start believing I'm a loser. No one's ever going to want to be with me. I impose that belief upon that activating event. I start feeling depressed. I start feeling down. The key is when you're in the C, you've got to be able to identify how you feel to yourself. You have to be able to say to yourself, gee, I'm really down right now. I feel really bad about myself because I don't have protein growing out of my head. You've got to be able to identify how you feel. Again, not to rag on my gender, but men are notoriously bad with identifying how we feel. Being able to say to people, I feel this, I feel that. We need to start being able to talk about how we feel in a way where we see it as helping us heal. Because if we don't, if we keep everything inside, again, pause, please ask a question, please make a comment, talk about something you need to talk about. If you're new to these broadcasts, take a chance and ask me a question so we can process it. The key to these broadcasts, like I said, is interacting with me, talking about what's on your mind, being able to say, hey, this is what's bothering me. So again, getting back to how to talk, remember the topic for tonight is how to talk about how we feel. So Talking about how you feel is not just talking. These words that you're hearing right now are being released out of me. Why is that important? Well, generally speaking, the more we keep in what's on our mind, the more we have what I call mind echo. And mind echo is, and you guys know what I'm talking about, things just have a way of echoing back and forth in our heads. We start hearing it over and over and over. And if we don't have a break in that, if we don't put a break in that back and forthness of what's on in our head, it literally can just literally make us feel like we're going crazy. The key to talking out how you feel with somebody like me, for example, or whatever mental health person, counselor, hopefully somebody trained and licensed, is that they will give you feedback about what you're feeling. And then you will take that feedback in and feed it back to them. And they will give you feedback based on what they've been trained to do, which is help deepen you into how you're feeling. Why is that important? Because it breaks that mind echo. It puts a break in that mind echo, and all of a sudden you have a counterweight. Let's say one of the things that freaks men out very much, not more than anything else, but one of the things is any degree of non-complete heterosexuality. So let's say you've had bisexual fantasies, or you've had bisexual experiences, or you have that side of you. Men do not like talking about that. So what happens is a lot of men keep that inside of them, and it just grows and grows and grows until they honestly begin thinking, well, maybe I am gay, or maybe I'm just repressing my sexuality, and because they're not dealing with how they're feeling. And that's the key. You've got to get into a situation where you can talk things out, okay? So Severina is saying, it has a relationship with being a good listener. Absolutely, because it's all about what you say, not what you said. Exactly. That's the key, is being able to not only listen to what other people are saying, but listen to what's on your mind. Being able to be aware, what the Buddhists call mindfulness. Mindfulness, like we talked about before, is metacognition, thinking about your thinking. But a lot of people are not comfortable with this thing in our head. We're talking to ourselves. We've got this kind of self-consciousness, self-awareness. People don't like really dealing with that part of them. It's like we have this aversion to like, I'm going to do another broadcast on self-talk, how we talk to ourselves. So absolutely, Severina's right. You need to be able to listen not only to what people are saying, but you need to be able to listen to what is on your mind. You need to be able to listen to what is going on in your head. Because if you're ignoring that, then there's no way you're going to be in a situation where you can talk about it. Because one of the things that breaks down our ability to talk about how we feel is shame. We feel ashamed that we're scared, that we're insecure, that we have self-doubt, that we have pain from our past. Again, guys, please share this if you're watching this. Please bring in some people. Remember, this is a broadcast, podcast, whatever, webcast, whatever you want to call it. This is about talking about our mental illness. Remember, we all have a degree of mental illness, myself included. Trust me, mental illness is a matter of degrees. It's not an all or nothing. I'm either mentally ill or mentally healthy. Like I always ask you guys, please name one person you know that doesn't have issues, that doesn't have a degree of mental illness. One person that you think is completely put together, and I guarantee you they struggle with things that are on their mind. So this is why it is so important that we talk about how we feel. Okay, talking about how you feel is a key part of mental health. Think about it. Somebody who doesn't like imagine you have a friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, husband, wife. They never talk about how they feel. They never talk about what's on their mind. How close are you going to be with them? How intimate are you going to get with somebody who never talks about how they feel? The feelings you have inside of you need to be released and processed. And yes, I advocate You need, if you can't get somebody, if you don't feel comfortable talking about how you feel with a friend of yours or a family member or whatever, you find a counselor, find a psychologist, find somebody who is trained, licensed in the field. I call it licensed to listen, who can listen to what you're saying, but also give you feedback. There's an old school way of doing this work where you just let the patient client talk and you just sit there. How does that make you feel? Not my style. Okay. Not my style. All right, Diego, I'm waiting, buddy. Waiting for your question. Not my style. I am engaged. I like to, as you can see, I'm very animated. Again, guys, please share this. Please. We need, you got people on these podcasts getting 50,000 views talking about white supremacy or doing all this. Let's get this going so that people can talk about what's on their mind. All right. But the key is getting somebody who can give you feedback about what you're saying, not advice, feedback, meaning, oh, so you're saying that you've always struggled with a bisexual part of you, but you're not comfortable talking about that because why aren't you comfortable talking about that? Well, I grew up in a culture where, any homosexuality was wrong and it means you're not a man. Okay. So you're telling me that one of the things that you learned about sexuality is that homosexuality is bad. Well, let's talk about where'd you learn? And that's what it's like. You're just engaging with somebody, or let's say you're a racist. Let's say you're a racist, but that being a racist by definition isn't healthy. So let's talk about that. Well, where did you learn? Tell me a little bit about your childhood. Well, what does my childhood have to do with anything? Hey, Angie, tell me where you learned to be a racist. And then you go back and forth with somebody who can help you deepen and question those beliefs. Okay. So, yes, Severina, being a good listener is part of it. Because the way you listen to yourself, I think, is key to the way you listen to other people. If you're generally not aware of yourself, then you're not going to be empathetic or be aware about other people. Arindira, how you doing, buddy? Sister, I'll get to you in a second. Arindira's been here before. So I hope that you're absolutely on, Severina. So let's get to Rose. Thanks for this platform, Doctor. You're welcome. Thanks for allowing us to speak freely amongst each other about whatever it is we are feeling, experiencing, and living with on a daily basis. It has helped me and allowed me to be more open about what I get stuck in my mind. And then I continue the pattern of self-sabotaging my dreams and passions to grow in life and career. Great, Rose. Beautiful. Thank you. That's great feedback. That's why I'm doing this. Nobody's paying me to do it. In fact, this is costing me money because people don't understand that for me to get people to come to this broadcast, I have to pay Facebook to advertise. And then I get these idiots, excuse my French, saying things like, oh, you're spamming and you're whatever. Newsflash, people, advertisers are what makes Facebook, okay? If people didn't advertise, there'd be no Facebook, or we'd have to pay $20 a month to use Facebook. Anyway, thank you, Rose. I appreciate that feedback. Great to hear you're not getting so stuck in your mind. Definitely, be aware. Where did I learn this self-sabotaging? Looks like we've got a good amount of people from YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please ask a question. It doesn't have to be about how to talk about how you feel. It can be about anything else that's on your mind. If you're bumming about COVID-19, if you're stuck, if you're running out of money, if you're feeling down, hit me up with a question. I'm not doing this just to show everyone how brilliant I am, because I'm as dumb as an ox in many ways, but in other ways, I'm not. And that's the way life is. That's what we got. I'm going to do a show about managing our polarities at some point, that positive, negative, good, bad, evil, and good. So please, if you're on YouTube, please shoot me a question. Let me see. I'm not crazy about this nickname from YouTube, so I'm not going to put it up, but it's a great question. How does fear of failure paralyze? Why does fear of failure paralyze me? Excellent. I'll get to that in a second. So let me get back up here to some other questions. So yeah, Rose, I really hope that you continue to not be stuck in your head, sister, to not sabotage your dreams and passionately grow in life and career, because I think you talked about before wanting to do something in this field and all that. Excellent, Rose. Don't one night I'll tell everyone how I arrived at this career. Okay. There's a whole migration story from one career to another back in my late 20s and early 30s. So, but I'll get into that another day. So thank you for your feedback, Rose. I really appreciate it. It really makes doing this makes me feel good about doing it. So Arindira is asking or said, my son who is 14 could not respond when I told him how he felt about when I asked him about how he felt about his father and me not getting back together. Excellent. That his feelings were important to me, but he couldn't. Excellent, Arindira. Beautiful, beautiful. Don't back off. Keep coming at him in a gentle way. Let's say his name is Bill. Bill, remember when mommy asked you the other day, look, I know you're not ready to talk about it, but I'm going to ask you again because I need you to understand how important it is to talk about how you feel. We have a 4-year-old, amazing raising a child, and I'm always encouraging him. Seb, talk about how you feel. What's going on? What are you upset about? I'm always challenging him to manage his emotions, to not give in to fear. The other day he was afraid to touch a praying mantis, and I didn't make him, but I kept saying, "Come on, buddy, don't give in to your fear. Do it." And he was able to push himself. So Arindira, beautiful. But remember, these conversations that we have with people we've never talked about how we feel are not one and done, guys. It's not just because your son wasn't able, he wasn't able to talk about how he feels about you and his dad not being together. Don't stop there. That's the first step. That's the first step. But tell him, look, I want us to talk about, are you mad at me? Are you mad about your father? Are you hurt? Are you lonely? Keep coming at him. But remember, gently. Okay, Bill, you're not ready? That's cool. Mommy will come back to you tomorrow night. Or I want to talk about, is there anything you want to talk about? Let him bring up a topic. But great, Arindira. It's great that, it's great that a lot of you guys who are watching this are taking what we're doing and applying it into your world. That's why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this just to blah, 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 blah talk. This is about engaging with me so that you can use this to better your relation. Remember, what's my motto, everybody? Relationship with self is number one. How I relate to me. So Arindira, you need to give yourself some credit, sister. You need to say to yourself, I'm glad that I did this. Great. Now she's following up. However, he talked to me about something personal and private. He mentioned it felt weird talking about it with me. Great. You know why it felt weird talking with you about it, Arindira? Because you're weird. No, I'm kidding. Because it's new. It's new. Nothing feels natural the first time you do it. You got to keep doing it. I would recommend to you that you give him some praise. Give him some positive reinforcement, like, hey, because you were able to talk to me about this, where do you want to go to dinner? Or what do you want? Give him some reinforcement. Remember, a positive reinforcement is applying a positive stimulus to shape behavior. So give him some credit for that. Excuse me. Thanks, Dr. Stephen. How can I help him be more open and confident? Talk about that. Hey, Bill. Hey, Billy. I want to tomorrow night or the night after. Yes, Fernando, I'm taking questions from Facebook. So ask a question, brother. Talk to him tomorrow morning about the fact that we're going to keep talking, meaning you're talking to him and saying, look, this is something new, pal. I know it feels weird. I know it feels different, but we've got to start doing this because this is you talking to him. I am doing this for you. You need to learn how to talk about what's on your mind. You can't keep things in. I have worked with parents post-suicide. I've worked with parents pre-suicide. You got to get your kids to talk about how they're feeling. You've got to find a way to find out what's going on with them. This society we live in where people are just glued to their phones all day long and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, great, Arindira. How can I help him be more open and confident? Tell him find out why, if he's not feeling confident, to tell him to start talking about his insecurities. Make him understand that Tell him about some of your insecurities. Tell him about some of your insecurities. Talk to him about some things you struggle with that you're working on. Set the example, people. Remember, model the behavior. My wife and I have had arguments with in front of my son, but you know what we do is we talk to him about it. And then he sees us making up and talking it out. We talk to him about how does he feel if he sees mommy and daddy arguing. You got to talk to your kid. So if you talk to him about some insecurities you have, but the key to him about being more open, Arundira, is you have to make openness something that he gets a reward from. There's got to be a payoff. So find something that he's closed up about and then see if you can kind of nudge that a little bit. So great. Thank you for the question. Let me know how it's going. It's great that you guys are talking things out. I did. I told him it is normal. I went through the same scenario and he felt better. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. No, humanize yourself to your children, people. I can't tell you how many times I have heard my parents expect respect, but don't give it. Don't be a hypocrite, okay? If you're telling your kid, don't be violent and hitting him, if you're telling your kid, don't drink or don't smoke, and you're drinking and smoking in front of him, gonna be a hard thing to sell them. So excellent. Self-disclosure. Talk about yourself. Kids think, oh God, we're like gods. Come normalize, get on the same level with them, okay? So thanks, Arundira. Shoot me a follow-up. I want to get to Diego's question here. So Diego's been from day one, talking about how he's feeling about things. So here we go. I spoke with my bro last week and I told him that all the time I was aggressive and at times mean to him. It was not me, and it was the programming from our parental figures. Beautiful. I told him he was right where he is, and I admitted to him I was messed up and fixing myself. I wished him the best. It felt so good. Beautiful, bro. Beautiful. You just gave me my chills for the night. Beautiful. You're damn right it felt good. You know why, brother? Because that is you breaking through your conditioning. You would have never in a million years seen your dad doing that. And you're breaking the mold, bro. So I would be very curious, like how he reacted. Like how did he, when you were talking to him, did he kind of look at you like, whoa, what the hell is this? But again, Diego, like I was telling Arundira before, don't do one and done, bro. Don't do one and done. Do it again. Get some feedback from him like tomorrow or the next day and say, hey man, what are your thoughts about what we talked about? Yeah, anything else on your mind? When you say I wished him the best, I don't know if that meant like you wished him the best and then you guys kind of went your separate ways. But that's great, man. That's great. Diego is really using these broadcasts to like push through that conditioning and conditioning, when we talk about how to talk about how you feel, conditioning will keep you from talking about how you feel. Conditioning will tell you, no, man, I can't. No. Someone's gonna use it against me, or they're gonna think I'm a wuss, or I can't show weakness. Oh, God forbid I show weakness. No, I need to be a Neanderthal man who just barrels through life, not showing how he feels and being a complete ass to everyone he meets. That's conditioning. Okay, you got to question your conditioning. You got to stop and ask yourself, wait a minute, wait a second. I mean, so I'm just going to be this out of control male who has no sense of who he is and no self-awareness. That's okay with me. That's what I want my kids to see. That's one of the main hindrances to talking about how you feel is conditioning. Conditioning is what we learn from the people around us. And please do not think, like I said a minute ago, that I came from any family of, let's have family meals and everyone talk about how they feel and blah. Couldn't be further from the truth, guys. Couldn't be further from the truth. So great, Diego. Proud of you, bro. Keep it up, though. If you and your brother are a little estranged, talk about that, bro. What do I need to do? Did I screw you up? Did I do something that hurt you? Tell me. I want to talk about it. But the fact that you're owning that you were aggressive and mean to him, you're saying to him, I'm aware did I hurt you? Which is hugely powerful. I'm working now with a mother and a daughter who they haven't spoken in years, and they've got all this kind of like negativity between them, and now they're finally talking about things. But the key that I was talking to the mother after the call, and I said, you're doing a great service to your daughter because you're owning the effect you had on her and you're helping her heal. And not many parents of adult kids do that. You hear this crap all the time. Well, I got no apologies to make, or you know what? They don't want to talk to me. I don't want to talk to them. Okay, but you're the one that raised them. Okay, you're the one that inflicted some pain on them. Now, I'm not saying that we don't inflict pain on our parents, but parents who own the effect they've had on their kids and help them through it, hats off to you. So great, Diego. I'm glad you're able to do that with your brother. So you're following up here. How could I get him to choose to come on here? It would benefit him tremendously. Keep sending him links. If you have video editing software where you can edit out the other stuff where I'm talking directly to you, he can get an idea that this is not Dr. Phil. Hey boy, what's the matter with this is about talking about how you're feeling. Just keep at him, Diego. Keep showing him, listen, man, I'm working on myself. This is what can happen when you work on yourself. Oh man, we're getting so many good questions. Thank you. Great, YouTubers. Share this on your timeline. Please share this. Don't be ashamed that you're talking about your mental health. This is what we need. This is the culture we need to move to. So Diego, keep at him. Send him links. Send him clips. Keep talking to him. I don't know what his name is, but let's say his name is Freddie. Freddie, listen, man. When I was mean to you and I was aggressive to you, bro, is that still affecting you? That hurt. I mean, that hurts me so much to think that I caused that pain. Own that pain, Diego, and reflect that back to him so he knows this isn't just some bullshit. Excuse my language. This isn't some just crap. Oh, I'm sorry now. Forgive me. And I'm going to keep hurting you. This is Diego saying, look, man, Dad screwed me up. I own it. I'm sorry. What can we do to heal this relationship? What do you need from me? Tell me, but keep at him. Like I was saying to Arindira with her son, it's not one and done, people. It's not one and done. This is about constantly going back, checking in with people. People like to think they can snap out of stuff. You can't snap out of anything. You didn't snap into it, so you're not snapping out of it. You got to keep chipping away at it. Okay. The fact that there are people on tonight looking at this live for an hour, talking, thinking about, what is on my mind? I got to work on some stuff. I got to deal with it. This is what we need, people. This is the culture. We should be so beyond crap like racism and killing each other and killing ourselves and this anger and addiction and all this crap. And the source of it all? No, not a bald head. Thoughts in our mind. Thoughts, things pains we're not dealing with. Stuff from our past. You see, I'm watching my language. So stuff from our past that we need to deal with. So Diego, great job, bro. Great job. Do not stop. Do not stop. You are just starting. You got to keep doing it. If you cause somebody pain, people, own it and work on it. Okay? Great, Diego. Thanks, man. Let's see. I'm not going to say the name of this person because it's kind of a racially insensitive name, but it's a great question. Why does fear of failure paralyze me? Beautiful question. Okay, now let's tie it back into talking about how you feel. So what I'm guessing, I'll just call you TB, but what I'm guessing, TB, is that your fear of failure is something you don't like people to know about. Okay, now I'm not saying go around talking to everyone about it and say, hey, I'm afraid to fail. But getting with somebody like me or getting with somebody in the field of mental health, you can talk openly about it and it would sound something like this. So TB, let's talk a little bit. When you say you have a fear of failure and it paralyzes you, what are you talking about? Like literally there are things you want to do that you can't do because you're afraid to fail. Basically, yeah, like there's a lot of things I haven't been able to do because I've been afraid to fail. Well, let's talk about a few of them. What is something you wanted to do? Then we'll get into that a little bit, but then I'll move you into, well, let's talk a little bit about where you learn this fear of failure. And people say I have this debate with other colleagues who are behaviorists, meaning they just focus on the behavior, and that's great. They ask me, well, why do you spend time trying to help people figure out where they learn things? Well, I don't know. Let me think for a second. If we just treat the symptoms of cancer and don't try to figure out how the god dang cancer got formed, then how are we going to ever really conquer the cancer? You got to get into the whys. You got to figure out why you have such a fear of failure, TB, because what I'm guessing is you got some trauma back there. Something happened when TB was a kid that you failed and people either ridiculed you, or maybe you had a really abusive or domineering dad or mom, and maybe failure wasn't an option, or maybe you were parentified. What's parentification? People from our previous show know. Parentification is you were put in a role of parent way too early. You had to take care of your siblings, or your mom and dad fought through you, or maybe you had a mom who depended on you too much, or a father, or whatever it is. But generally speaking, a fear of failure comes out of the belief that you are a failure. So you already believe you're a failure. So you avoid situations that could cause you to feel failure because you don't want that reinforced. You don't want that reinforced. Think of it like, the guy who's out at a club and wants to, sees a beautiful woman or whatever and wants to go talk to her, but he doesn't. Why? Because if she says no or is not interested, he's got that walk back where, you see, I'm such a loser. Okay. So TB, I don't know if you followed up with a follow-up here. Let me scroll down. Nope, not yet. So you've got to get into where you learn the fear of failure, okay? Fear of failure is predicated on a couple of false beliefs. One of the main false beliefs that happens and I'm going to get to you, human being, thank you. Great, asking a question. Yeah, Fernando, okay, cool, you asked a question. I'll get to you in a second, dude. So one of the things about fear of failure is the belief that you can't handle it. So let's go back to the example of the guy at the club or whatever wants to talk to the woman or whatever. He is saying to himself, and this isn't just me, I'm just using a generic example, but he's saying to himself, if she shoots me down, I can't handle it. So TB, you got to get into a little bit of what you believe about failure. Meaning, what is your belief system about failure? And I use Edison as an example. Thomas Edison, the idea that when he was asked, well, Dr. Edison, you failed 40 times before you discovered the light bulb. Didn't you want to give up? And he looked at the dude like, give up? I learned 40 ways it didn't work. So somewhere along the way, and I would love to have interviewed Edison to find out how he learned this, but he learned somewhere along the way that there's no such thing as failure. You either learn or you succeed. So there's no failure. Failure gives you the opportunity to learn. Failure gives you the opportunity to say, oh, well, that didn't work. Let me try this. But what I'm guessing, TB, and you haven't followed up with anything here, so I don't know if you're still on, but I'm guessing, my brother or sister, that you learned early on that failure means you're a failure. And you learned early on that you can handle failure. Meaning, so what happens is we say to ourselves, oh, if I start these live, these FaceTime talks and nobody logs on, I'm going to feel like such an idiot. Screw that. I don't want to wonder whether or not this could have happened. I have been waiting to do this for years. If you look at my YouTube channel, there's a 4-year break in why I haven't been doing it. Why? Right there. I have a 4-year-old, so I had to prioritize my life to give him a chance, and my wife and working and all that. But you can't let the conditioning, remember we talked about conditioning before, you can't let the conditioning of what you learned about failure to keep you from trying new things, people. Rose knows exactly what I'm talking about if you're still on, okay? Okay, so so I almost said it. You need to change that name, man, because I don't know if you're aware, and I'm not calling you out here, but your screen name is a bit racially insensitive. So I don't know if you know that, but anyway, um, and that's cool. I'm not saying you're a racist. I'm just saying that's why I'm not saying your name. So great. Here's TB's feedback. You describe me with uncanny accuracy. I have fear around failing at things I'm pretty certain I'm good at. It's pretty irrational, and it's definitely due to really bad parental stuff. Also, sorry about the name. It's a joke. I'm black. Okay, cool. Well, that fills it in. Okay, great. So his nickname, or the person's nickname, is Tar Baby. I don't know if you guys know why a black person would find that insensitive, but black people used to be tarred and feathered. Tar Baby. Great, huh? Anyway, so yes, you need to look into how that bad parental stuff, TB, affected you. Because the reason I'm uncanny about this is because I am the best world-renowned uncanny No, I'm kidding. It's because when you do this long enough, you hear very quickly in what people are writing or saying, and you know certain patterns that they're going through. So what I would encourage you to do is I would encourage you to stop and think. Well, let's use racism as an example. So, and people know my grandfather's black. I'm a mixed race. Many years I was denied in my family, caused a whole bunch of insecurity in me. Finally worked through that. Now I'm very proud of that. So, but anyway, let's take racism. So let's say you hate black people or white people, but you don't want to be like that anymore. You've got to spend some time. Where did I learn this crap? All black people suck. All white people suck. You got to question the belief system. I call it questioning your conditioning. Okay. You got to question that. So for you, TB, I would say you got to spend some time like saying to yourself, well, okay, what did I learn about failure? Why am I letting this stuff hold me back? Why am I saying that it's not okay to fail? You've got to question the belief system. And then if that's not enough, you got to get with somebody and talk this out. I don't know how deep or how bad your parental stuff was, TB, but if it was pretty bad and it's still affecting you, you got to own it. Now, you said something I want to talk to real quick. You said it's pretty irrational. No, it's not irrational at all. Don't tell yourself crap like that. It's not irrational at all. It's very rational, because what's happening is you hit the nail on the head tonight. It's rational because you learned it. It's rational. It's irrational is, oh, geez, I had a great upbringing. My parents didn't put a lot of negative crap in me, but yet I'm still this way. That's irrational. It's very rational that you have a fear of failure. If you were routinely told growing up, people focused on your negative or put you down or made you feel that you were bad if you failed or didn't do something. I'd be curious, TB, when you said you described me with uncanny accuracy, what part of that? Was it the parentification? Was it the parents who argued through you a lot, or what was going on there? But I want to get to some other questions, but TB, let me know how things are going with this. If you want to shoot me back some emails or whatever, or in private messages. But I would recommend that if your fear of failure is holding you back to the point where you're literally being held back, like it's almost like you feel like it's a force holding you back, then you got to talk some of that out. You got to start talking it out and realizing in a short amount of time, oh, wow, so it's not that I'm a failure. See, that's what failure does. You either learn from your failure, or you learn that you are a failure. And most people learn, I am a failure when I fail. And that crap needs to be called out, because that is a form of conditioning that needs to be worked on. Okay, so thanks, TB. Appreciate your questions. Please share this. I'm on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Mountain. So check back with us and let us know how you're developing, like Diego did. So proud of you, Diego, man. I'm so glad that you, his response. So just heading back to Diego real quick. His response over the phone was stumped. Exactly. He stuttered, and then all he said is repetitive. He said, bro, I love you. I got you. I know that. I feel so light and even lightheaded. Thanks, man. Great, dude. Awesome, man. This is why I do what I do. I'm not going to lie to you. A part of what I do is I like the feeling I get from helping people. And if that makes me selfish, I'm comfortable with a little selfishness because it's great that Diego is using this forum to make small little changes in his life. So great, Diego. Keep it up. I bet a lot of that guilt you felt about how you treated your brother was probably why you drank, because you strike me as a really like emotional dude, a really caring guy. So it's great that you're Veronica. Thanks for your question. I'll get back to you in a sec. It's great that you're pushing beyond that, machismo kind of thing. And, I spent a lot of time in Puerto Rican culture, so I know how that plays out, man. So, great, Diego. Keep it up, man. But seriously, bro, it's like working out, man. You gotta keep pumping that muscle, man. You gotta keep working on it. So keep pushing into that. Okay. So, I hope that helped, TB. Let's see, human being. And then Fernando asked a question. Great, Fernando. So human being says, I have issues with expressing emotions. Many times I feel shy to express my love to my family members, even though I care. My family members, sometimes something blocks me to talk fully with them. Gotcha. Great, human being. Again, I'm assuming that you're a guy, so I'll talk to you like a guy. Because there's a picture, I don't know if that's you or it looks like a picture of Donald Trump or whatever. But anyway, you took the first step tonight, my brother. I have issues with expressing emotions. Beautiful. You're owning it. What I would encourage you to do, human being, is why? Why do I have problems expressing my emotions? What's going on? Where did I learn this? Where did I learn that I have to have problems expressing my emotions, or that there's something wrong with emotions? It's learned behavior, guys. Learned behavior. Many times I felt shy to express my love to family members. Push through that. Why? Why am I shy? What am I afraid of? If I express my love to my wife or husband or whatever is going on. Uh-oh, wait, I'm about to lose power here. Sorry about that. Really professional. I know. Anyway, sorry. But you gotta question, where did you learn that there is something wrong with expressing emotion? Where did you learn that, human being? Okay, you can answer me if you want. I'll look out for your response. But that's the key. Somewhere along the way, you learn this. So here's a little exercise for you, human being, that I'm going to nudge you a little bit since you're putting this out to me. You go to bed tonight and those family members die tomorrow. I'm not trying to be morbid. How do you feel? What kind of regret do you live with the rest of your life? You got a chance. They're still here. Tell them. I'm not saying go in there, oh, I love you, and just fall. Start in increments. Tell them. You want a first step for me to challenge you? Tell them. Find one of them. I have issues expressing my emotions to you guys. A lot of times I feel shy to express how much I love you, but I got to work on that. Show them that. Like Diego said, show them the emotion, show them the pain. This is what men don't do. Men deal with their emotions in it's called secondary emotions. The primary emotion is pain. The secondary emotion is anger. So we get hurt. We don't know how to deal with that. We're not going to tell people, oh, God forbid. We're not going to even ask directions a lot of times. We're not going to say, hey, I'm hurt because, oh my God, I may be perceived as weak. Oh no, not the dreaded weakness. Show your family a little weakness. Watch what happens. And guys, if you're watching this, please share this. Please share this if you're watching this. Please. We need more conversations about mental health, okay? Human being, take a step. Even though I care about my family members, something blocks me to talk fully with them. Find out what that is, bro or sister. Find out what that is. What's blocking me? Do it tonight after this broadcast. Sit down in a chair or in your whatever and just think about your thinking. Do a little mindfulness, a little metacognition. What's blocking me to talk to them? I will guarantee you, well, I can't guarantee you, but I will almost guarantee you, you're afraid. There's something about emotion and showing it that you're afraid of. And then you take that deeper. You say to yourself, what am I afraid of? Now he's following up. Is that something related to subconscious block? Maybe. There's a lot of debate about conscious and subconscious. Let's just keep it in what we can handle. It's conscious, bro, because something is blocking you. Now, subconscious meaning, is it something you're repressed or something you're not aware of? Well, let me tell you something about the whole concept of subconscious and conscious mind, okay? How do you think the subconscious mind gets formed, people? You think it's just there? No, we are feeding the subconscious mind all the time by the conscious mind. The conscious mind is bleeding down. If you look at it like water on dirt, it's bleeding down into the deeper recesses. So human being, be conscious of it. You know, I would even bet this. You know why. You know why you don't talk to your family about your feelings. Let me tell you why I know you know why. You don't want to face it. If it's subconscious, you don't want to face it. Let me throw out oh man, we're running out of time here, so I want to get to some other questions. But I bet it has something to do with your parents. I'm betting no one ever talked to your dad, never talked to you about how he was feeling. Or somewhere along the way, you learned that talking about feelings makes you weak or makes you something. Dispute that. Question the conditioning. Okay? Thanks, Aaron dear. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Question the conditioning. Okay, human being? Please. Don't think of that example. Something happens to them tonight and they're gone. Your family's gone. Think of the regret you'll have if you don't talk to them about how you feel. Think about that and then act on it tomorrow. Little ways. Find something that you can say to somebody in your family, one person. Just expose yourself a little bit to them, okay? Tell them what you said to me. That's the first step. All right, hope that helped. Please follow up Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Check back with us, all right? You too, TB. I want to hear what happens. So let's get to another one here. Fernando, have you dealt with people who thought certain feelings were sinful, like anger? Growing up with people who suppress their feelings, how can they begin to heal? Beautiful question. Beautiful question. Okay, beautiful question. Yes, absolutely. Religion, and I'm not anti-religion. I was raised Catholic. I'm not very religious right now, but I absolutely believe in a higher being, higher power, whatever that is. I absolutely believe in intelligent design, not free of evolution. I believe that they both go hand in hand, but I do believe that there's something healing, trying to help us heal. I absolutely believe that. Do I think it's a white-haired, bearded man sitting in the clouds judging us that I need to come on my knees to? And no, I don't. I'm sorry. But yes, religion is absolutely a cause for a lot of mental illness. Now, let me explain what I mean by that before everyone starts coming at me. Religion, there's some key things about religion. One of the things I learned in religion in Catholic school was having a thought is the same as acting on it. So having a thought, a sinful thought, is the same as acting on it. Let me tell you something, people. You want some mental illness? Keep believing that, because having a thought is nowhere near acting on it. But if you believe that, then it makes acting on it easier. Let me give you a quick case in point on that. Worked in an adolescent treatment facility for sex offenders in Portland, Oregon. A lot of them believe that. Oh, I'm having these predatory thoughts. I'm having these sinful thoughts about this child or this neighbor. Well, that means I'm a piece of crap sex offender. So guess what pieces of crap sex offenders do? They sexually offend. Okay? Having a thought is not the same as acting on it. Here's his question. Certain feelings are sinful. Why is anger sinful? Why is anger sinful? I'm not talking about the manifestations of anger. If you're using anger and beating people up and cursing people out and putting people down and violating people physically, sexually, whatever, absolutely, that's a sin. But anger itself is not a sin. It's what you do with the anger. So Fernando, I would definitely spend some time like, well, wait a minute. God made me. So God made me with anger, love, all these contrasting emotions. So why is anger sinful? Why am I telling myself that anger is sinful? That would be something I would get you to start thinking about. So I'm sorry, I lost. Okay, so growing up with people who suppress their feelings, exactly, out of shame, out of this idea that having negative feelings is wrong. Having negative feelings is not wrong, people. Positive, negative, and neutral feelings, we all have them. We got to manage them. So how can they begin to heal? I don't know, bro. Are we talking about them or are we talking about you? If we're talking about them, they got to find their own healing. They got to want to heal. You're asking this question, so I'm wondering, what is it about Fernando that needs to heal? What is going on with Fernando that he is thinking anger is sinful? How is his religious beliefs causing him shame or causing him to feel certain things about himself? Healing begins, people, with acknowledging, I got something that needs to heal. I have something that I need to heal. That's how healing begins. The first step in any healing process is realizing things like, okay, well, maybe I am, I don't know, looking at my emotions in too much of a God and devil polarization, good or evil. Why don't I look at, it's okay to be angry, but let me manage it. Okay? Anger management, not anger elimination. Why? You can't eliminate negative emotions, people. You can try praying them away as much as you can. It ain't gonna work. You gotta deal with how you feel. You gotta deal with it. Otherwise, it's going to deal with you. So I hope that helped. So Fernando, if you want to follow up, is this about other people or is this about you? Okay? You gotta own it. All right? Okay, he's following up. Yes, OMG, I grew up Catholic. I feel you, man. Now Christian, so I went through much meditation over feelings, and you hit it on the money when speaking about Catholic beliefs. Now I see my family having these things that I grow from. Okay, so you're saying that they're still Catholic and you're having a hard, so they're still kind of stuck in a lot of that. Yeah, I can see where that would be an issue, man. I feel you. I mean, I was force-fed religion for many years, man, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm not saying I'm anti-religion. I'm just saying that people need to give children the right to choose if they want to be religious before we start indoctrinating them with all this. But anyway. So I would encourage you, man, to you got to accept that there may not grow, bro. I mean, I have people in my family like this. They do not accept the fact that I am not Catholic anymore, and they don't. And there's nothing I can do about that. I can't force them to accept my beliefs as you're not, as you can't expect them to accept yours. Okay, so I would recommend that you, if they're not going to change, then you've got to find some common ground with them. You've got to be able to say to them, look, we have different beliefs. I'm not judging you. You're not judging me, but you've got to find some common ground. So it sounds like this is mostly outside of you, meaning that these are people in your family. So I hope that helped. I want to get to Severina's question before we end here. I am an expensive person, but when it comes to relationships, I feel guys get scared about it. I don't know what expensive person means, and I am not sure what to do. I like to express, expansive. Are you saying expansive? Great, Fernando. I'm glad you understand. Thank you. But the key, Fernando, is remember, you got to accept them. You got to let them know that you're accepting them, and you got to find that common ground, that respect, where each of you are saying, look, I respect you. You're not Catholic. You're a Christian. Great. Christian, Christ, we both share that in common. Let's find that. But yeah, you're not going to change them, bro. You're not, because deeply religious people genuinely believe that the Bible is the word of God, and a lot of times they take it literally, and there's a lot of hypocrisy in, the way they act and treat other people, but expressive. Okay, Severina. So, no problem. You got to find that common ground, Fernando. But you sound, you sound pretty balanced, and I would encourage you to think about how your Christian beliefs can be expanded to be more realistic, meaning that how can your belief in Christ, if you find someone that doesn't believe in Christ, I don't know if you have any Muslim friends or Jewish friends, but I would encourage all people of religions to look, rather than what separates us, if we believe in this idea of God, let's find that as common ground. So I hope that helps. Please tune back in on Wednesday. Let us know how things are going. So Severina, I am an expressive person, but when it comes to relationships, I feel guys get scared about it, and I am not sure what to do. I like to express my feelings. Severina, keep looking, okay? There are men out there who don't mind expressive women. Find them. Don't give up. Severina has talked very openly about some abuse she had, being involved with a narcissistic individual who caused her a lot of pain, and her mom caused her pain. But you've got to start working on that pain, Severina. You can't keep letting that pain convince you that you're not good for a relationship, that you're damaged goods. You got to talk that out. So don't withhold your emotions, express them, but maybe you're expressing them in a way that's causing, a lot of men, when you start, I'm not saying don't cry, but a lot of men get turned off if the emotion is too much. So find a way to, when you start dating again, to find out what level of emotional toleration the man can handle. If they talk about their feelings, if they don't talk about their feelings, but do not withhold your feelings to be with somebody. That I would highly recommend you don't do, because that will then cause you to feel resentful. You'll start to feel like you're not being yourself. So definitely, I would encourage you to talk to the new person you're dating about how they feel about expressing emotion. Okay, guys. So I'm going to run. Remember, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m., please share this. Please talk to people about how you feel. If there's somebody you need to talk to, bring it out. If there's family members who don't know how much they matter to you, talk to them. Talk to yourself. Say things like to yourself that you would say to somebody you care about. Work on your relationship with yourself. That is the primary thing to work on. Frederick, great man, you're welcome. But dude, you did not ask a question. So next Wednesday, please ask a question, Frederick. Remember, this is about you guys talking to me. I am not going to be one of these YouTubers who just are whatever that, oh, I'm so smart and this is what you got to do and click and blah, blah. This is about talking to somebody about how you're feeling. So Frederick, I'm going to look for you next time to ask a question. Severina saying, honestly, make me feel like I'm doing wrong. No, that is the dude you were with. They're not all men are like that. There are a lot of men who are empathetic and who can help you express yourself. Talk to somebody in the beginning. If you meet somebody, tell them how important that is. Tell them. If that's not important to them, if they're like, well, I'm not really into that, ask them if they're willing to work on that. If they say no, check, please. Maybe that's your new benchmark, Severina, is find men that can grow with you. I don't say change them, grow with you. Okay? Don't let the pain from the past, Severina, stop you from finding somebody else. Please don't. Okay? You seem like a very loving, kind individual. You will find somebody that you can connect with. Don't let that trauma from your past hold you back. Okay? All right, guys. Well, I'm going to log off. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Mountain Time. Please share this. If you see one of my ads, Share it, please. Okay. Thank you for all the questions. See you Wednesday night. Anybody has any topic ideas? Add them to this stream. Glad to. I'm going to start taking live. If somebody wants to come on and talk about some things live and we can go back and forth, I'm going to start doing that this week too. Okay. Nice chatting with you. Take it easy. Have a good night.